Hey guys, how are you? Welcome. I am Summer Deep with Summer Sweet Shop, and I am so excited that you are here. Just getting my notes here together, but I'm so excited that you guys are joining me today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like I said, my name is Summer, and I so excited for you to be here. Today, we are diving into something that's not only sweet, but something that can also be very profitable for you, your cookie business. So I'm talking to you about selling those amazing cookies, those beautiful decorated cookies that you probably make at Christmas time, that you make for fun celebrations, that you're making for those special occasions for friends, family, and people that you love in your life. But how do you actually get started selling your cookies and starting a cookie business? Well, I am here to talk to you about that today. From all the things of what things do you need to start selling your cookies? Can you really make a profit selling cookies? I know you're probably asking yourself those same questions. So, today I'm going to share with you some of those tips on how to get started. But first, I want to take you back about 15 years ago. And my sweet friend of mine and I decided to take a Wilton cake class from Michael's Craft Store. I have known several people that have done this as well, and I took this cake class wanting to learn how to make beautiful cakes for my kids one day. I remember growing up, my mom made our cakes for us growing up, like the star formed cakes. And I wish I had a picture, but like with the strawberry shortcake and the rainbow bright and the Star Wars she made for my brother. And so I was so excited about this class, and I thought this will be great. Like I love baking, I love doing things like this. So this will be super fun to learn how to just make like decent looking cakes for my kids when I decided to have them one day. So we took this class. It was super, super fun. And I really loved every minute of it. Like I said, I've always loved baking. My mom would always fuss at me about making a mess in the kitchen when I wanted to make cupcakes or brownies or whatever. And so this class was just right up my alley and gave me that creative outlet that I really was and really didn't know that I desired. And so after I took this cake class, I was like, man, like wedding cakes are like super stressful. I don't want to do any of that because that's kind of craziness. But maybe I'll just do like some cakes here and there for like my friends and family, maybe for like maybe some neighbors. And so I did. And I think I posted those probably on Facebook back again. This is like 15 years ago. And I posted them on Facebook, and I had a few friends and some neighbors that were interested. And so I honestly made maybe like a handful of cakes. And I enjoyed the whole process. It was super fun. I really, really enjoyed it. But fast forward about a year after I took that cake class, my son was about 6 months old at the time, and we were going to a family birthday party. It was a first birthday party, so it was a over the top crazy, really amazing birthday party in our family's backyard. And they had pony rides, they had a petting zoo, they had all of these things. This is back when dessert tables started to get really, really popular. And I remember looking at this birthday party and walking around. And I get to the dessert table because I love baking. And so I was like, take me to the dessert table. And I see this spread of food all in front of me, all these sweets and fun things. And in the middle of this table is decorated sugar cookies in the shape of a farm theme. That's what the theme of the party was. It was farm theme, like I said, the petting zoo and the pony rides and everything. Well, they had these iced cookies in the shape of horses and pigs and a barn and sheep. And I fell in love. I remember looking at these cookies. I can see them in my head right now. I wish I had a picture to show you. I can see these cookies in my head right now, thinking, I bet that I can make these cookies too. And I bet it's a lot of the same things that I learned in cake class just about a year ago. So I went home and went home and got on my internet and started searching Google. Again, this was before YouTube. This was before Pinterest. This was before all of those things. But I got on the Google and I said, I want to know, like, how do you make these sugar cookies? I knew that they were sugar cookies. Of course, I ate them while I was there and they were delicious. And I just love this idea of being able to do all these different characters and themes. And so I found some blogs that showed me exactly how to decorate these cookies, what your sugar cookie recipe could be, what royal icing was. And I had never played with royal icing really before. I think we might have touched on it a little bit in the cakes, but really had not worked with it very much. We worked with buttercream and fondant. So I realized very quickly as I'm looking at these blogs that this is not really what I learned in cake class. This is going to be a new adventure, but I was up for it because I was so in love with these cookies. I had to try more. So I went back to Michael's. I got a huge Wilton pumpkin cookie cutter. I still have it today. I should have brought it out with me. But I have this huge Wilton cookie cutter of a pumpkin. And I said, I've got to make some sugar cookies. I've got this recipe here. We're going to try it out and see how it goes. So I did, baked my first set of cookies, these pumpkin cookies, and I fell in love. I say that I was bitten by the cookie bug, and that is no exaggeration. I totally was, after I made these pumpkin cookies, I was like, I have to do this more and more. This was so much fun. I love doing these different techniques and outlining and flooding. And I said, I have to learn how to do more of this. So I got more cookie cutters. And I started making cookies for Christmas time. And I said, man, this is just so much fun. I really, really enjoy this. And so soon my husband was like, okay, like I can't keep eating all of these cookies. And so you need to figure out somewhere to take these cookies and like do something with them. So I started giving them to my friends. I started giving them to my neighbors. I started giving them to anybody. I would send them to work with my husband so he could take them to work and put them in the break room so people could eat them, right? Because I wanted to make these different ones. And every time I would see like a new holiday for Valentine's Day, for St. Patrick's Day, I had to make cookies for that holiday and that season. So as I was giving away these cookies, my friends started asking me, hey, will you make cookies for my daughter's birthday that's in a couple of weeks? Hey, will you make cookies for my kid's baptism that's in next month? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And they're like, hey, we want to pay you for this. And I thought, okay, okay, I could do that. I can do that. Now, I had no idea. I have a sales and marketing background, but I had no idea how to start a cookie business. Had no idea. I didn't know if I needed a license. I didn't know if I needed special permission. I didn't know if I needed to know how to work a calculator. I had no idea. But what I did know was that I had a passion for cookies, and I knew that I wasn't the most talented cookier out there, still am not, but I knew that I had something that people wanted to pay me for. And I thought, yes, yes, I can do that. I can make you cookies. You can give me money, and that can help the income for my family. This is going to give me a creative outlet, and this is going to give me something of purpose and something that I can do that I enjoy, that I love. And I thought, you know what? I don't have a clue how to run a business, but you know what? I knew I loved sharing my cookies, and I knew that I could figure out all that numbers and business stuff. I could figure that out later. I didn't have to know that right here, right now. And so that's what I did. That was how my business started. It started, I want to say almost by accident. It's not something I sought out. It's definitely not something I saw on my bingo card. It was something that started as a hobby. It started as a passion, and it molded into a business until here we are right now. So I know you might be thinking, well, how do I start this cookie business? And maybe your journey is not like mine at all, and it probably isn't. But I want to talk to you today about what are some things to do before you start your cookie business. So before you start decide to start selling your cookies, I want you to think about your why. Why do you want to start selling your cookies? Why do you make cookies in the first place? So what is that motivation? What are the things that drive you to make those cookies? Is it the creative process, or is it you're like, I just need to make some extra income? And if that's the case, that's totally fine. Maybe it's just the joy of creating something and making other people happy. And that's awesome. Maybe it's you're like, I really would like some extra income in my family, and I want that flexibility that I can do and have with a business at home, like your cookie business. So I want you to ask yourself, what drives you? What really motivates you? And what are the things that give you life and give you energy? Well, if you're like me, you did not set out to have a cookie business. But today, I want to share with you four things that you can do today that that you can do to set yourself up for success when it comes to starting your cookie business. So, four things that we're going to talk about today. These are some things that you can do that you can implement right away to work on to as you start your cookie business from home. So number one is I want you to dream. I know it sounds like really simple and really kind of frivolous, but it's important. Your dreams are what allow you for your possibilities to happen. They are definitely a part of your goal setting, and they're going to allow you to cast that vision for what you want that cookie business to be. How you picture everything working out is all starting in that dream. Once you've thought about that, I want you and encourage you to write those down. I want you to write them down on a piece of paper. And once you write them down, I really encourage you to share it with someone. I want you to tell someone about it. It can be your husband, it can be your spouse, it can be your best friend, maybe it's your mom. I want you to write it down. Okay. And I want those dreams, I want them to be specific. I want you to write out what are your dreams for your business in 1 year, in 5 years, and 10 years. There's no limit to this, and there's no cap on how far you can take this. These are your dreams and what you really want. So maybe you write these down and you think over them for a little while, and then I want you to share them because they are super powerful when we're able to speak them out loud. Okay, number two, I want you to set goals. Setting goals in your business is what's going to put those dreams into motion. It's going to set it up and get you ready to meet those dreams that you have. Your goals are where the rubber meets the road. It's where the cookie goes into the oven, right? It's where the impossible makes your goals possible. So, your goals are also what you're going to use to make decisions down the road in your business. They are going to be vital in your decision making, and they are going to help you grow and build along the way. Now, these goals need to be specific. I don't want you to say, oh, like, well, I want to grow my business next year. And while that's sweet and fun, I want you to be more specific. And I want you to say, hey, I want to double my sales this year, or I want to double my sales in fourth quarter than I had last Christmas, right? I want you to be really specific when you're writing out these goals. And when you're writing these out, I want you to set goals that you can measure. So set a time limit on these goals. Maybe it's 90 days, maybe it's by the end of the year, maybe it's 6 months from now, whatever it is. I want you to set a time limit on those goals because when you're putting a time limit, it's forcing you to measure with a number. Okay. And if you don't have that time frame, if you don't have that around your goals, your motivation and your urgency, it's going to get lost when you start working towards that goal. And that's not what we want to happen, right? We want it to motivate us. We want it to, as we start getting those small goals, reaching those goals, we want it to be that motivation, that inspiration that we have to keep going. Number three is I want you to overcome those fears and doubts. I know that this can be so much easier to say rather than do. And it's so much easier to say, yeah, I can overcome those fears and doubts, but to actually do it is a whole nother story. I 100% understand that. And building a business, it can come with a lot of those fears and those doubts. I doubted myself hundreds of times, probably thousands of times before I started selling cookies and even after I started selling cookies and had my business. But some of those fears were I thought that I wasn't the best cookier. So why would anyone want to buy from me? Why would they want to purchase from me? I knew and I had fears that my pricing was going to be way too high. And so my customers were going to go to a cheaper competitor of mine. I had fears that I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do to get my business off the ground. I didn't know like what if I had to run a QuickBooks or how to keep track of my expenses. I had fears about that. And I thought, I can't start a business. I don't know how to do QuickBooks. I don't know how to track these expenses. What do I even need to do? But what I did know, again, was I had a passion. I knew that I was capable and I knew that I could learn. I could learn those things. And so can you. You don't have to know everything in the beginning. You don't have to know all of the things and have it all written out and have this beautiful plan in front of you to get started. You just have to get started. You just have to get started. But starting a business, just like it doesn't matter if it's a cookie business or any kind of business, it can feel lonely, it can feel isolating, and you can feel like you're just doing this all by yourself. So that's why it's super important that I want you to surround yourself with people who are supportive, people that are encouraging, and maybe that's your friends, maybe that's your family. If it's not your friends or family, I want you to find that support somewhere. Maybe it's in the cookie community. I want you to find that support because it's going to help uplift you and encourage you when you need it the most. And then, like I said before, set those small goals in the beginning. They're going to help propel you forward. When you achieve those little goals, it's just going to push you forward and help you to grow and build that business. Okay. And number four, our last one, our last point today is put yourself out there. I know it's hard to do. And it's so easy to get in our own heads and worry what other people might think. And you might like what your family might think. But I really want you to focus on your dreams. That's why we wrote down dreams in the beginning, because I want you to focus on your dreams. What is your why? Because there are many times in your business, you're going to come back to that why and say, why am I doing this? This is hard. This is hard right now. Why am I doing this? So you want to start off, you've got to build that foundation first of what is your why? Why are you doing this? And look at your dreams. What are your dreams? Going back to, man, I had that vision for this business, and this is what I want it, how I want it to take shape. Those are going to help you with your goals. They're going to help you stay focused. They're going to help you to know what makes you happy and what makes you unique. You know, my son, he's a competitive swimmer. I don't know if you know this or not. And I love going to his swim meets. I love cheering him on. He's not the best swimmer by far, but he enjoys it. And I enjoy watching him. And swimming swimming can be a team sport. A lot of people don't think of it that way, but it can be a team sport, definitely when it comes to relays and things like that. But for the most part, it really is an individual sport. And I remember watching the Olympics, and there was this Canadian swimmer He was swimming this race, and I don't remember what race it was. I want to say it was probably like a 200 something. So you're doing like 4 laps at least, back and down and back. And she was positioned, her lane was lane 8. And if you know anything about swimming, you have lane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And normally they put the top contenders, the fastest people are in the middle. They're in like lane 4 and 5 is where they typically are. She was positioned in lane 8 because of heats and her numbers and everything and all like that. And during this race, it started off, obviously everyone starts off the same, and she slowly just kept getting farther and farther ahead of everyone else in this race. I don't remember what her name was. I do remember she was from Canada. And I remember she just kept pulling ahead. She was about a body length ahead of everyone else, and she touches the wall first. And she came out of the water, and she was just as stunned as everyone else when she turned around and looked at the scoreboard, and she saw her name for the gold medal. And she gets out of the water, and the news was there interviewing her, and they were like, wow, that was so amazing. Like, how did you do that? We did, they were saying it in the nice way of like, we didn't expect you to win that race. You were not the top pick to win. Like, how did you do that? And I'll never forget what she said. Is she said, I focused on my own race. She said, I was in lane 8. And when you're in lane 8, you have the wall next to you. She's like, I couldn't see what else was going on beside me. I couldn't see where the other swimmers were. She's like, I just focused on my lane and where I was going and trying to hit that wall first. Right? Oh, it was so powerful. I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, yes, yes. How many times do we in life look at our competition and get distracted and look around and say, but what are they doing over there? They're getting farther than I am. They're doing this. That looks a little more interesting. Well, what about them? When we need to focus on our own race, getting back to that why we started, what our dreams are for our business, not for anyone else's business. Your journey is going to look different than everyone else's. And that's okay. We want it to. If it all looked the same, it'd be pretty darn boring. If we all look like Chef Boyardee, if we all looked like Martha Stewart, well, that would be fun. We want it to be different. We want it to be unique. We want it to be ours. And so, I think about that story all the time, especially when I just start to compare myself and I compare my cookie journey to someone else's, to my closest cookie friend, to my business colleagues, whoever it is. And the thing is, those doubts and those fears start to creep in. But I remember, I don't want to let that comparison steal my joy and steal my dreams for something that it could cause me to actually miss out on something that could change my business and change my life forever. So I want you to remember what your goals are. I want you to stay focused on what you have, what your dreams are, what your why is. And I want you to block out everything else. Okay. So next time, we're going to get a little bit more practical. We're going to talk about some essential tools and some essential equipment that you need when it comes to starting your cookie business. But I wanted to start here today. I wanted to start with these 4 tips about dreaming, about setting your goals, about overcoming your fears, and putting yourself out there. And our next session is going to be great. We're going to talk about organizing all the things. It's going to be really practical and give you some great steps of what to do. And I really can't wait to dive in with you. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you all, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Y'all have a good one.